Hello, so today I'm going to teach you guys how to make these beautiful, delicious vegan pancakes. This is Mary McDougall's recipe, and she, if you don't know who she is, her husband's been a doctor for many years, and he's really big in the plant-based industry, and she made up lots of cookbooks of vegan cooking, and so this is one of her recipes. You can pause the video and write it down. Put it back. So as I was putting this all together, I thought, oh geez, I should hurry up and make a video. So here's what I did. I'll just tell you. Now, I always double my recipe, so the recipe I just gave you, just double it if you want to have extra. So the recipe calls for 3/4 whole wheat pastry flour and 3/4 of white flour, and I doubled that, and then 2 teaspoons of baking powder and a dash of salt. You get that in your bowl, mixing bowl, and then you just give it a spin with a whisk. Then in a separate bowl, you're going to add 1 tablespoon of energy egg replacer. If you don't know what that is, you could find that in your local health food stores or now online. And basically it tells you on there how to make an egg, a vegan egg, so you don't have to use real eggs or anything because you're vegan. So it's like a white powder, and so it calls for 1 tablespoon of energy egg replacer, 1 cup of ripe bananas, and you mash them up. That's about 2 or 3 bananas. Then you're going to add 1 cup of soy milk or rice milk, half a cup of sparkling water, 1 tablespoon of applesauce, and then 1 tablespoon of fresh lemon juice. And then once you get that all together, that's where I stopped, you're going to mix it up. Make sure your bananas mashed. I didn't really have any leftover bananas, so I did add a little extra applesauce, which is okay, because you can replace bananas with applesauce. And then you just mix it all up. Mix it really well, you'll see. This here is delicious. That's your recipe. I really enjoy Mary McDougall's recipes. She's the pioneer to vegan cooking, so if you go with her stuff, you're always gonna be good. Okay, so now that you got this all mixed up really well, you're going to want to add this into your dry. So I'll do this with one hand, but you just dump it in there. Try to get all the bits if you can. Okay, now you're just going to beat this up. This is going to taste better than Mrs. Buttersworth. That's the brand I used to always have when I was growing up, because we weren't vegan. My mother used to love to make homemade pancakes. She used to love to make them, but then, we'd also have Mr. Buttersworth. And then you just keep stirring and stirring until it's nice and smooth. Don't be afraid. Keep mixing it real well. At this point, you can get your griddle or your pan, whatever you're using, turned on and heated. Okay, so now that you're all mixed up and you got your non-stick pan. You have to use a non-stick pan on, and I always put mine on high to start, and then after like a couple minutes, you know, before it starts to smoke, you want to turn it down. Now this is for my oven, and it's a General Electric. You can turn it down to 4 approximately, and always make sure you use a non-stick spatula too. But at this point, then you're going to dump in your blueberries, however many you want. That might be kind of a lot, but we love blueberries, so it won't matter. You can see by stirring it up, you want to get a blueberry in every bite. Just add in what you like. Everybody's flavor is different. If you don't want blueberries, you can actually add in those like little chocolate, morsels, you know, like from Energy. I mean, not Energy, it's called Enjoy chocolate morsels. You could put, I guess you could put anything in it, really. You could probably put walnuts in it if you like nuts. Whatever you like to eat. This is great for New Year's Day. You know, after everybody's went out and partied. Well, I guess this year nobody's going to be partying, but you will be able to have a nice breakfast for your family, you know, on New Year's Day. So now I have a little scoop like this, a little ladle that I used to use for soups and stuff, or I still do, but I like it for my pancakes. So I just bring it up here like that, plop it in. Normally I have the pan closer, but since I'm showing you, I didn't put it close enough, but that's okay. Because this little thing that dropped, you can just get off. Try to get it off before it smokes. Okay, and you'll see, I think my stove's heated up enough now. But you'll see it doesn't take very long. You'll start to see bubbles will start to form. You don't have to stand over, you know, your griddle like I am right now. I'm just here for the video, but normally I'm cleaning, like doing dishes or doing other things, you know, in between. I would say it takes, once you get the griddle nice and hot, it does, or your stove nice and hot, your pan nice and hot, it doesn't take very long. A couple minutes per pancake, I think. But you see how the bubbles are starting to form? I like to wait till you see bubbles all the way around. Then you know that it's cooking really well. Nobody showed me how to make these. When I became vegan, I just looked it up online, how to make vegan pancakes, and I found Mary McDougall's recipe, and honestly, I never went back. It's really good. You can check. So say you like, oh, well, how do I know if it's done? You just take your spatula like that, and you lift. You see it's still pretty light. You want to leave it. Leave it till it gets a little golden brown. Usually the first pancake, I always found, and my mother said it too, is the first pancake's always the one that, she called it a throwaway pancake, but you can eat it. There's nothing wrong with it. It just gets better as it, like your next pancake and your next pancake, it'll start browning a little nicer, and, you know, it's just like an old car starting up for the first time after years of not using it. It needs to be run. Same with your pan. There you go. So you can flip it now. You see, it's still a nice golden brown. It doesn't take very long on this side either. A few minutes. But if you're looking for a good idea for New Year's Day breakfast. A little late for New Year's Eve because today's New Year's Eve, but a New Year's Day breakfast. You know, after everybody's, I don't know, maybe you guys like to party and drink or whatever, and you want a good breakfast. And honestly, these you can make in advance. You could make them and freeze them, and you could have them in your freezer. So, say if you have kids or something and you don't have time to make breakfast before they go to school, you could just freeze them in your freezer and then pop them, you know, take them out and pop them in a microwave or a toaster even. Anything that you can heat them up in. And they're delicious. You see, when I checked, it was still a little light. Just let it go. You can pat it down a little bit. That won't hurt it, but normally I don't. And we'll let that brown up. Now it does take a little time, so if you want to prepare these ahead of time, like I said, and leave them, you can leave them in your fridge for a day or so. And you could pop them in your freezer. I like to make potatoes with mine. I'll show you those while we're waiting on that. I'll show you. So you see here, I cut up about 4 Yukon Gold potatoes, and I cut them very, very small. See, and I just put garlic and onion powder on there, and parchment paper. I baked mine at 425 degrees Fahrenheit, and when they start to get brown like this, then I flip them. I give them a toss. You see how you do that? You just give them a toss. Now, since I'm waiting on the pancakes, I turned them down to, I turned my oven down to 400 because they're done. They're ready to eat. And they're nice and soft and tender. I'd say about 20 minutes at that length, or at that size. Okay. Now you get your plate that you're going to use. And there you go. We'll make another one. See now? What I normally do is you can bring your pan close like that. And what I normally do is I have 2 pots like this. This is an old-fashioned Pyrex bowl. I have 2 of these like that. And what I normally do is I'll put my pancakes, I'll have the clean one, and I'll put my pancakes in there, and then I put a lid over top like this, so it'll keep it warm. And when I'm done frying all the pancakes up, then I serve them. Okay, so you'll see how that goes. And then that one's ready to be eaten. And you'll see it doesn't take very long. See how it's starting to form bubbles already? I highly, highly recommend you trying this. Today was my first time actually using sparkling water. In the recipe, it calls for sparkling water, and I've always just used regular water. So I'm kind of excited to see how that'll turn out. I don't know if it'll give it a different, flavor, pizzazz. If you find that it's taken too long, which this is a little longer than I like, I'm going to turn this up a little bit more. So I'll put it up on 5 just to speed it up a little. You don't want it too high though, because it will burn. So you just want it right. You can run your spatula along here just to loosen things up if you'd like. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and flip it. You see there's enough on there, and I can see that the edges here are starting to cook. So you see, nice golden brown pancakes, and they're fluffy. As you can see here, they're very fluffy. I use a small skillet, but if you have a larger one, you could put a couple, 2, 3, however big you want your pancakes. You could put 2, 3 pancakes in at one time if you like. I do it singly because I like this size. This here, just to show you my hand. It's a small one. Smallest skillet there is, but I like it. You can flatten it if you want. You could check. It doesn't take very long once your griddle gets hot. Okay, I'd say this is done. See? Nice golden brown. There you go. Now I'll show you what it looks like with some syrup on it. Okay, here we go. Now you can use blueberry syrup or maple syrup, whatever you like. I did a combo of both. And there you go. Perfect New Year's Day pancakes. And that are vegan, that are healthy. If you have any questions, please let me know. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and share for more videos in the future. Thank you and have a good day. Bye-bye.